one of the big priorities of not just my administration, but folks all over the city is to enhance the image of the city, and that means a lot of things to a lot of people. It means we take steps to remove trash from our streets. It means that we work on landscaping and doing the little things that you've seen along Route 18. It's about enforcing the code in neighborhoods so that our homes, our housing stock looks good and looks sharp. It's the tree plantings. It's a lot of the other things we're doing, but there are other things as well. And public art plays a big part in the way that we want to be seen by ourselves and as well as by others. Good public art works in cities all across the United States, and that's because for a number of reasons. It gives people a sense of pride in the place, which is so fundamental to community and public enjoyment. We really want people to feel proud of their public spaces, and that's why we put so much work into places like the bottom part of Acushnet Avenue, around Route 18, around Fort Tabor, and so many other parts of the city. We've also encouraged art in a number of places that people can come and reflect on somebody else's expression that will endure not only weeks and months to come, but for years to come. Timing's really bad with the trucks. At least it wasn't a motorcycle. So what we're trying to do, we're lucky in New Bedford that we have a tremendous arts community. 2 years ago, the Atlantic Monthly wrote a piece. The piece was by Richard Florida, who's one of the top social commentators about urban America of our era, of our generation, who ranked the most artistic cities in the United States according to the percentage of artists living in those cities. And New Bedford had the 7th highest percentage of artists living in the city. And so, we are, and we're not known for that necessarily beyond our borders. We should be, and we're beginning to. But it's an important fact that New Bedford is an artistic place. We have embraced the arts, and arts have flourished here, going all the way back to the whaling days when we had nationally and internationally famous artists who came from here and who found their inspiration here. And it's carried on through the generations, through the Swain School and through UMass and a number of other institutions. This is an artistic place, and we have embraced projects that really show off to the rest of the world, what we've got going on. Public art is a way of demonstrating our commitment to the arts, because the arts make life richer. They make it more interesting, more fun, and make our city present itself as a more novel place. So with that wind up, this is what you have. This is the start of this mural that you see here today, done by Alex Jardin. Is the start of a series of murals around the city, including the one that was commissioned by the CDC just off of Acushnet Avenue that was recently displayed to the public. That will show New Bedford in a very different light. This is part of the new face of New Bedford, a face of New Bedford that is presentable to not only to the rest of the world, but is a source of pride for our own residents. And so there are lots of people to thank here. Let me just start with MB Beautiful, which is a commission that started about a year ago, that has been instrumental in improving the look of our city in a number of places. Lynn Kosh is from MB Beautiful. And she's done a great job combining those efforts with the other very important organization that she's been heading up for many years, also aimed at improving the look of the city, and that's Operation Clean Sweep. Jeremiah Hernandez, whom you'll hear from in a second, headed up our Public Art Committee and was instrumental in figuring out and determining good places for this thing to go and to vet proposals. Lauren Barber from my office spearheaded the effort from the mayor's office to figure out how we get support for this to happen. I think Corinne Williams from the CEDC for her organization's promotion of public art and how public art can play a vital role in the transformation of neighborhoods, and that's happening along the avenue, thanks in no small part to the efforts of her and Kenny Raposa and everybody else at the CEDC. Many people to thank here. I want to thank George Kirby from Kirby Paints, one of the most venerable companies in New Bedford. They go back to the whaling days. They started out as a family business in the 1840s, and they're still a family business here today. Thank you for making it happen with the paint, high quality paint made here in New Bedford by a family that's been in the business for over 150 years. Lots of other folks to thank. Jerry Pinto from Neighborhoods United as well, big supporter of this effort. I'm going to introduce Jeremiah in a second, but we held a contest of folks who held a contest to paint this mural on this what is otherwise barren concrete in a neighborhood that could use some cosmetic facelift, and no doubt about that. I'll have Alex come up in a second, but Jeremiah played a huge role as someone who is an expert himself, runs the Ugly Gallery on Union Street, and is a huge champion of the arts in the city. And this is another big initiative that he's been involved with to help the city embrace the arts. And Jeremiah, we really thank you for your efforts, and I just ask you to come up and say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and everybody else here, the community involved, the artists involved. We were floored by the number of amazing proposals we received for the space. So public art, it's really integral to a community like ours. There are a lot of broken windows in our hood, and fixing up broken windows and letting the general community know that we care is going to be huge in moving forward together as a community, not just a segment of our community, pushing the arts, incorporating the community into proposals like we did here and like the CEDC did on Acushnet Ave and Coffin Ave is amazing. The artist community is really on the outskirts of the real decision makers in life, and public art is that community speaking from the periphery of the community to the center, and that doesn't happen often in how we operate. It's usually top down, it's usually directed from above, but I feel like public art is one voice that we all have as a community, and it's a beautiful thing. Supporting the artists is another step we're looking to make, because to stay the 7th most creative community in the US and to climb up that chart, we also have to support the artists not only in supplies and admiration, but we also have to have them take less hours as grocery baggers and restaurateurs and waiters and bartenders, because if they get more time in their studio, the art in the city is just going to be that much better. I really feel strongly about public art. I travel all over the US in search of projects that have been either privately funded or publicly funded, and it's an amazing thing. When I walk around cities that are full of public art, I am happy, mainly because I'm not an artist, and I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. And seeing the magnificence that these artists from all over the world kind of spread with the community is really, really game-changing. And I think for us here in New Bedford, this is our next eventual step into making our community more brighter, more welcoming, and allowing our community to understand that we do care, and we want them to be happy like I am. when I walk around other public cities that are full of art. Philly, New York, Boston, they all have programs built into their infrastructure that allow for this to happen. We are a baby, and we are burgeoning, and we are on our way there. And somehow or another, we'll find the way to funnel the necessary economy and arts to bring in amazing work. We have really huge plans for this city, and we could have gone anywhere in the U.S. and we could have made money and sold art in other places. But we believe in New Bedford, and we believe in the arts community, and this is just the first step in many. And I look forward to being involved and helping out in any way that I can, whether it's lifting ladders or painting straight lines with rulers, whatever it is. Just know that there is a very active volunteer community that is ready to help, and we look forward to many more. Thank you for the opportunity.
You bet. Now, come on, don't sell yourself short. You can draw a straight line with a ruler, Jeremiah. Come on. All right. So I'm going to introduce Alex, but I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, I want to thank the Department of Public Infrastructure for cleaning up the site right here. It looks good and presentable, and they will keep it up well. The other thing is, Alex came forward with an idea that we all thought was fantastic, and he executed it. And look at it. I just think this is so cool. It is one of the trickiest things. And again, as much as you can't draw with a straight line, I don't know much about art, but I do know what I see. And what I see in public art is there's got to be, from the artist's perspective, a tough task, and that is you want what you do to have a broad appeal, right? In other words, you want not necessarily everybody, because you'll never get unanimity, but you want a lot of people to say, you know what, I like this, I like being near this makes me feel happy, as you just said, Jeremiah. But on the other hand, you don't want it to be plain vanilla. It's got to be different. So that's a really tough balance to strike, and it's got to be your own. It's got to be your own expression, like any other work of art. I don't know how you pulled it off, but you did, Alex. I think it's fantastic, and I just, I wanted to commemorate the occasion by presenting you with a city proclamation for your not just your artistic ability and the work itself, but your devotion to the city, and we really appreciate what you've done here.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. You want to say a couple words?
Well, Jeremiah is probably going to kill me for saying this, but I've always said that I'm not an artist. I just really like drawing and painting, and you wouldn't believe how hard it is to get somebody to let you draw and paint on a wall of this size. It's incredibly hard to do. So just to give you an idea, the reason why this came about was because I really wanted to paint a big wall. The opportunity came up. There was a contest, and this was my reaction to the contest. I knew it had to fit within the city. My father himself is a fisherman, so I mean, when you think of New Bedford, you think of fish, but we've all seen fish swim through the water before. So why not align the city's ideas, my ideas, and this is what came about. That's really all there is to it. So I just thank you again for the opportunity to be able to paint on a really big wall.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Alex. It's fantastic, and it's really, as you can see here, this is the level of traffic. You're reminded that, of course, this is the more or less the Washburn Street off-ramp, right? So this is a heavily trafficked area, and this is, for a lot of folks, one of the first things they see when they come into the city off of 195. So it makes a fantastic impression of the city, and that's from the mayor's perspective, that's really important. If you remember those Doritos commercials that starred Jay Leno a few years ago, in which he said at the end, if you like the Dorito, we'll make more. Well, this is sort of the same thing. This is our approach with the murals. We plan on more of these, and we have lots of talented artists in the city, and we will find ways to support, as we did with this project, the purchasing of paint and other materials. And, as I said, Kirby Paints is hugely committed to this project and really extended themselves. That's fantastic. But we want to make more of these. So if you see some of the demos and up here, we have more in the pipeline. And so stay tuned, everybody. This is something that we want more of in the city because it really puts a great face on the city, especially for people just entering here. So thank you, and I'll be happy to take any questions if you have any at this time.
May I say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Last thing, if anybody has any more really large walls for me to paint trees on, contact Jeremiah Hernandez at Ugly Gallery. Thank you.
There you go.
One more thing is that there were 5 other artists involved,
Yes.
along with Alex, E-Tips, Just One, Pro One, Zach Munier, and an anonymous artist all helped out in creating this mural and that overlay of the urban graffiti with the shadow work done by Alex on top. There's a few references to folks that actually live in this community. Up there on that top fish up there, you can kind of see behind there. There's green, white, and red. A young man lost his life in a car accident just a few years ago. His nickname was Mex. His mom lives in the area. Alex decided to commemorate his memory with attributing that fish to him. There are other small symbols placed throughout. We have another tribute to a fallen artist on the other side. Joey St. Pierre just lost his battle with addiction a few weeks ago, and he was a huge promoter of public art, not just here in New England, but in New York and LA and other areas. So yeah, I just didn't want to forget everybody else that made this happen. Yeah, so cheers.
Good. All right. Alex, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I grew up just like, I believe about 1.1 miles away is what my GPS said from this particular area. So I mean, this area influenced me growing up, and I understand how a lot of people can go by a place like this and kind of not say good things about it. But at the same time, my city is part of the reason why I am who I am. My life for the past couple of years, actually my whole life has been an absolutely great ride. So I can't ever talk down to a particular place like this, especially when it's given me an opportunity that I'm so fortunate to have. You know, this is it's not a normal thing where somebody allows you to do this. I was really happy to have it over here. The amount of traffic, the area it's in, the people that are around here, it's my city, and I love where I live. So
I think it's fair to say that even the folks who vandalize surfaces around the city with graffiti would respect this. I mean, I don't think I'm being wishful in saying that. I think there's a level of
murals don't get harmed.
Murals in general don't get trashed. You know what we'll do is we'll do what Richie Correa and his crew did today, and that is to clean up the weeds and keep it looking sharp and making sure that garbage doesn't collect all along there, so it's very visible. And that's what we need to do. Yeah. You know, we got to stick with it. You know, it's just like everything else, Jim. You know, we've spent tremendous time and energy upgrading a lot of parts of the city, but you know, in particular Route 18, and you're seeing it happen now, and it'll continue to happen for the next few years. You know, we've got to keep it up. We're investing in places. We've got to keep up the investment. That requires good city management, and that's what we plan to do. We'll stick with it. Anybody else, John? Good? Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I need to get a picture with you.
All right.
Oh, wait.